Welcome to the Rooster Teeth Podcast. This week brought to you by Audible, Casper, and Squarespace. This week not brought to you by John Reisinger, who's missing.
I'm John. I don't know what 5 o'clock means.
We should bring the puppet back out. Why did I think of that? I'm Gus.
No one would even miss him.
I'm John. I'm Barbara.
I'm Becca.
And I'm Gus. So normally Barbara and I were talking about this before we started the podcast live stream. And like I'm of the opinion where I send out a we've talked about this with Gavin before. I send out that calendar invite. People know what time it is. Like I'm not going to hold
Especially
them.
if they accept it.
I'm not going to babysit them. And this time I was like at 4:55, I was like, I should text John.
So did he forget, or was he just running late? Period.
He said he forgot the podcast.
Is he like off site? Did he? Did he
said
go
he's been
home?
on vacation.
He, I think, took a couple weeks off because his significant other is in town.
Oh yeah.
So I think he had other things on the mind. So he'll be here soon. So save all your John shit talking for when he actually does show up.
Well, you could start now if you want.
I don't want to get all the good ones out of my system yet.
Yeah, he'll give us new material once he arrives.
Yeah, that's true.
He'll give everyone new material when he arrives.
Man.
Just his presence.
So
I love John.
And then we wrap up our meetings and everything down there. Like, all right, I'm gonna call another one. We'll head back up there. So since we're at Rainy Street, we have to go to that IHOP over there, like at Cesar Chavez and 35, and we're right there in the parking lot. I call the fare, and he's on the other side of the river on the Congress Bridge.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh shit, it's gonna take him forever to get here, especially during South by. I had to come up and cut down Cesar Chavez. Like whatever. So we're there waiting, and he pulls up, and at this time, like I had to get on a conference call. So I was like, I get in the car, and I'm like, I'm really sorry, I've got to jump on a call. I don't mean to be rude. He's like, oh no, it's fine, take your call. So like I pick up my phone, I get on the call. And we're in the IHOP parking lot. We haven't even left the fucking parking lot yet. And he's already like honking at someone and like swerving around them all crazy. I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun.
It's going to be this kind of ride.
So we pull out into Cesar Chavez and we have to get north on the 35. So you're supposed to get in that left lane to go. He gets in the correct lane, but I guess the lane was going too slow for him. So he gets over to like try to get ahead and then cut over. But of course, like he doesn't make it over. So we end up going east on Cesar Chavez.
No.
Like we miss our turn, like, oh fuck. And I can't say anything because I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
And so we're like circling back through the neighborhoods. We get out onto the access road again, but he can't get over into the lane that's supposed to get us onto the highway. So he's like in a right turn only lane at a red light. The light turns green, so he floors it. Ugh. And we cut in front of everyone, get on the highway, right in front of a cop. So the cop puts on his lights and pulls us over. I'm like, motherfucker. So we're like on 35, like we were pulled over on 35, and the cop's like talking to him, and I'm on the phone. The cop comes over, is like, do you know why I pulled you over? The driver's like, yeah, I was in the right turn lane, I accelerated. Cop looks at his registration, is like, your registration's also 6 months expired.
Oh my god!
Like, oh, what the fuck?
What a fucking winner!
Yeah. So then the cop
How about
goes
them
back.
background checks?
Yeah. The cop goes, yeah, great, right?
Thanks,
the
fair.
Cop goes back to start writing the ticket, and the driver like turns off the fare meter or whatever. And he turns back and he tells us like, hey, I'm turning the meter off. I don't want you guys to have to pay because I got pulled over. I'm like, all right, whatever. So then the cop writes him his ticket. We take off.
You didn't like get out of the car and get? I guess you're on.
We were on 35.
Side of the highway,
I couldn't get off. It was like where the exit for downtown is because they closed it for 6th Street.
Yeah.
So it's like there wasn't even a shoulder. We were literally in a lane that's closed.
Wow.
So then he starts taking us back, and he's like grumbling and all pissed off about this ticket. I finally get off the phone, and he's like, yeah, that stupid ticket. Now I lost all the money I was going to make today. Got to pay this thing. I'm like, all right. Sorry, that sucks. I mean, and I didn't say it, but I was like, it's your own fault. You have to drive like an asshole out here. And then he comes to drop us off here at stage 5, and he's like, hey, I lost all my money because of that ticket. I turned the meter off for you. So if you give me a big tip on that fare, I would really appreciate it. I was like,
oh my god,
what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
How dare you?
So then I was so mad. I was like, all right, sure. Then he drives off, and of course, whatever. Then I opened a ticket with fare. Like I signed up for a fucking account on their website to open a ticket to complain about how shitty this experience was. This was on March 15th.
Yeah.
They replied to it right now before we started the podcast, like 5 minutes ago.
Are you serious?
It took that long for them to reply to it. They were like,
we're working
sorry.
through the South by backlog.
We get a lot of requests during South by Southwest, and all of our drivers are independent contractors. We can't vet them all. Like, what the fuck are you saying to me? So like, that's the whole reason, like, there was this Uber, Uber and Lyft left was the whole background check idea.
Yeah, what does Fare and Fast and all those companies do then?
I don't know.
Doesn't the government have to now give them background checks or some shit like that? Isn't that the whole...
I told him that this guy should not be driving. The guy had anger management issues. I was like, this guy has like a serious temper. Like there's something that needs to be addressed. He needs help. And he should not be driving a car with people in it and taking their money and then guilt tripping them for big tips.
It's funny because during South by, I had one of the best rideshare experiences of my life. It's probably not the same guy.
I know.
Definitely not. It was like one of the best rides I've ever been on. It was this guy who was like a bit older, probably in his like mid 60s. And he was talking to me. He's like, "So where are you from?" "Okay. Yeah, I'm moving to Hawaii soon." And I was like, "Well, why are you moving to Hawaii?" And then he proceeds to tell me the story about how he used to live in Hawaii when he was a teenager and met this girl and fell in love with her. And just like how he always had this like really amazing spark with her and how he always felt there was like something cosmic going on with them. But then he ended up having to move back to the States and just lost touch with her. Ended up getting married, was married for 33 years, had 3 kids. And then he and his wife decided to get a divorce after that. And his kids are all like adults and everything and moving on. And then one day he was just sitting at home and he started thinking about this girl he met in Hawaii. And he said, "Well, I wonder.
It must have been like forever ago. Like so much time must have passed.
So much time. Well, I mean, over 35 years probably. And maybe even 40. And he said that he didn't have her on Facebook. He didn't know how to contact her, no social media or anything like that. But then he started thinking that maybe her mom was still alive. And like older people tend to have landlines. So he looked up this woman's phone number, called her up, left a message, and said, "I'm looking to contact your daughter. It's me, blah, blah, blah. We met, 40 years ago or whatever it was."
I might be slightly crazy.
And then he said he left his phone number. And then he said that an hour passed and he got a text that said, "Be still my heart."
Aww.
And it was that woman. And he said that they started talking and then he decided that he was going to move to Hawaii and get married to her.
Oh, that's awesome.
That sounds like the plot of a movie.
Yeah,
I know.
totally.
I was in the backseat like this.
And then he shows up and they're both
God.
shadows and shells of what they used to be. They're like, not so much anymore.
Yeah, kind of depressing on that part. But no, he showed me a photo of what she looks like now. And I'm like, damn, I see why you want to go to Hawaii to marry this girl. She's hot, even now. So that was a beautiful moment.
That is beautiful. My worst, I have a bad one. It was in Chicago. I was traveling on business and I was like right out in the suburbs. And apparently there's some rule where like taxis that are based in Chicago can't pick people up and like take them to the suburbs or something. Like
okay,
you can do one but not the other. So I was in the suburbs and it was within their rules where they could pick me up and take me into Chicago.
Okay.
So I had called an Uber. It was like my first time ever using Uber. This was a long time ago. And so my Uber driver was taking forever. Super late. I get tired because I'm like traveling for business. I have to be there at a certain time. So I give up on him. And there's a cab in the hotel little roundabout. I'm like, I'm just going to get in the car with this guy, cancel my Uber. As I'm getting in the taxi, my Uber pulls up.
Oh, no.
And he's like, "Hey, you're my person." And they get in a fight. They are screaming at each other over who I'm going to get a ride with.
Oh,
and I get spooked and freaked out. Like my Uber driver seems crazy. So I'm like, I'm going to get in the taxi.
Yeah.
He starts.
Things are bad when the taxi driver is a more rational one.
Yeah.
So he starts driving me. I get a phone call from the Uber driver screaming at me, like just being like, "You bitch, I wasted my time on you." Just going off. I'm like, all right, already a bad day. This is a weird experience. Then my taxi driver runs a stop sign, gets pulled over, has an outstanding warrant, and is arrested.
Oh, God.
And I am stranded on the side of the road and then had to call another car.
Please tell me the Uber that came was not
I was
the
so
same.
scared it was going to be the same guy. So I didn't do Uber. I called it taxi service. I was like, I'm not going through this again. This is insane. I finally show up like an hour late. I'm like, "You guys would not believe." It was just, it was crazy.
That happened to me with a taxi too, where this was before Uber even existed. And I called a taxi and I was waiting for them for about 45 minutes and they didn't show up. So I called another taxi and that taxi showed up at the same fucking time as the original taxi showed up. And then they started arguing too of just like, "No, you're like, I was coming to get you. I came all the way." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you took fucking 45 minutes. And this guy showed up within 5 minutes. I'm going to get in this guy's car.
Yeah.
Fuck you, dude."
Oh, my God.
Oh, and he charged me like a skipped fare. I saw it pop up like $25. I contested it. Uber was very nice about it, but
yeah, what a piece of shit.
was real shitty.
Everyone who does editing as their career, because to watch something over and over and over. Oh, where's this asshole?
I'm glad that you ran in and saved us 5 seconds after your
hey there
37 minutes late. Hi.
You want to redo the intro?
Yeah,
John.
let's just redo the whole thing.
That's what we were just talking.
Oh my god.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Rooster Teeth podcast. This week brought to you by Audible, Casper, and Squarespace. I'm Gus.
I'm John.
I'm Barbara.
And I'm Becca.
And I'm Gus.
Hey, John.
Hi.
Thanks for being on time for the podcast.
Woo!
We're not...
So we talked about this like right when we started the podcast, but before we started, Becca and I were talking about how different we are when it comes to like producing a show.
Yeah.
It's like I don't send.
Oh, you and me?
No, me and Barbara,
Oh, you
because
and
like
Barb.
talking about Always Open, but how like I don't send reminders or I don't worry
Yeah,
about
you
it.
didn't text me until
Like 5 minutes before.
less than 5 minutes before you checked. But
Were you
yeah.
just at home?
No, I was actually across town, the other side of town. I'd just taken Bella to the lake. She's
7 minutes and 8 seconds before 5.
Oh, okay. Well, according to my car's stupid clock. But yeah, Bella looks like a swamp thing because she was just swimming in the lake. And yeah, so I've been on vacation for like the past week, and that mixed with the change in time, I didn't think about the 5 o'clock.
It's cool.
It's been at
It's
5
fine.
for like 2 months now, right?
I have not been on it since it's been turned to 5. I don't think.
Nor have
You might
I.
have been on once.
Yeah, if it's the vacation thing is what it is. If I had been in the office, I totally would have been like, yeah, 5 o'clock. I would have hopped over here, but like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I didn't realize you were out. Otherwise, I would have sent in a reminder
That was-
earlier.
no,
I
that's my
even
fault.
asked.
That's my fault. Huh?
I even was like, "Where's John?" And you go, I'm like, you don't want to. Because
yeah.
for me, like, if this was my show, it would have been like, 4:30 rolls around. I'm like, hey, just where are you? You coming for the
It's
podcast?
because I
now?"
normally do it with Bernie and Gavin, who are the biggest dicks in the world about like showing up at the last possible minute. So you just get used to it. Then that's what happens.
I guess, yeah. I think it's because everyone else is usually on time, especially if they're not usually on the podcast. So that when they're not there, I'm like, there's probably something wrong here.
Yeah.
And there was.
Yeah, and I feel like a total shit because this is
No,
actually
no.
this is what I just did is my pet peeve, and so whenever like you have your pet peeve and you end up doing it, it is like one of the worst things that you can do. Like I'm huge on punctuality, and B, I'm huge on like if I say I'm gonna be people if you say you're gonna be somewhere, be there.
Yeah.
And so
At least you're suffering.
yeah, at least I'm suffering.
In front of like a few thousand
People are
too.
people are giving the control room props for getting that intro again back out
They're
there.
so quick on stuff. I love our control group.
Yeah, they're
Control crew? Control group.
control room.
Control room.
Yeah.
Control room.
Broad-
Control group
Broadcast
makes it sound like
team.
we're doing a science experiment. Like we have another group somewhere
Yeah.
that we're doing.
Want to be having orgasms.
Having orgasms.
Yeah. Masturbating.
That I hate April Fool's pranks, but I thought
You're the prank king.
the one Pornhub had this year was actually really good.
Wow, what an old reference there, Becca.
We just posted on Facebook
Yeah.
a couple
Okay.
days ago. So.
They said that they were rolling out a feature where any video you watch on Pornhub, it just automatically likes and shares on your Facebook timeline, saving
Yeah.
you any potential
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
downtime. And of course, people like start freaking out about it.
No, that one sounds so obvious.
But why do they have that fucking like button? I don't know about Pornhub, but I've seen that on
Yeah.
on some sites.
I
It's like,
always
Well,
wonder why.
I think with like
It's a little
those sites,
risky.
it's more so, I don't know, does the like, wait, is there an actual Facebook like button?
all right, I'm looking.
on some porn sites,
I'm going to
they have-
Pornhub for work.
Pin this to your pin
Well,
board.
because I mean, if some people want to, why wouldn't Pornhub let them like share their content that they need more people to watch? Pornhub is still a
Hot
views
daughter
game.
fucks mom's boyfriend.
That sounds good.
Let's see here.
What are we looking at?
I'm trying to see. Well, I mean, I'm not watching it. I'm looking for share.
Yep.
Gus, I'm pretty sure this is in the employee
There's
handbook.
literally a share button for every social media.
No Facebook though.
What?
It's
What about
Twitter,
Twitter?
Reddit, Tumblr, Google Plus, StumbleUpon, and Blogger.
Do it on Twitter.
Blogger. Wow.
Do it on Twitter
on
right
Twitter?
now.
Yeah, there's the
It's probably
like
because
button.
Facebook is
I'm
all
clicking it.
prude.
It's gonna make you log in.
Oh, it autofills a tweet, and then you have to hit tweet.
But like, is it already connected?
No,
to
go
your
ahead.
What's it say?
It did pull up my account.
Yeah, it
my
pulled
account.
up with your face because you're logged in.
with,
says-
with your Pornhub account?
It
does
says
it- does it
Nubile
follow?
Films, hot daughter fucks mom's boyfriend, and it's
Gus,
got a
let me
link
see-
to the video.
Let me
No,
see something real
get
quick.
out.
Let me see something.
That's just
No.
the title.
Gus, I just wanna
It's
see-
close.
Yeah.
It's close.
I'm
It's
currently
unrelated. It's
No,
unrelated.
not.
rubbing my dick to.
Don't you have to connect your Twitter account?
Well,
Well,
you're
because I'm
logged
logged
in.
into Twitter already. It probably
Like in
it
his
pops up a
browser.
but
separate
don't you
window.
have to allow the website to have access
It
to your Twitter?
popped up like a Twitter window.
Yeah,
Ugh.
which means Gus has already
Like, if you
given
clicked
Pornhub
it-
permission to.
And then hit enter,
Wow.
Yeah.
then it's out there.
God damn. There was a funny story I saw. I don't know how true it is or not, but it looked legit. Where this daughter had her dad as a friend on Facebook, and her dad didn't realize that everyone could see anytime he like commented on someone's public photo or anything like that. So she just got like in his feed, just saw all these comments of like him leaving these really disgusting comments on these girls' photos of like, yeah, baby, I'd lean you over the table and fuck you in the ass.
Gross.
Like, oh,
That's bad.
I love those
That's
hot
bad.
titties.
That's a no.
And just like she had to comment being like, Dad, everyone who's friends with you on Facebook could see your public comments.
Oh man,
That's awkward.
Which to me is like, that is,
well, it wasn't that.
I would just be gone. I'd delete every internet thing ever. I'm gone off social media.
Anything you do on the internet can be seen by everybody. That's the rule.
And soon it'll be sold by your ISP for a great profit for them.
I loved what Cards Against Humanity owner said they were going to do.
Do a fundraiser to buy all of Congress's
By
web
Congress's.
browsing.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that's a fun little like fuck you.
Yeah.
Like whether they do it or not, that's just a very clever way to put it into perspective of like, hey, you're people too.
What I don't understand is, so our elected officials passed this, right? They represent us. Who in the world was like, hey, we'd love for you to pass a law where you sell our web browsing history
Right.
and you make money off of it? Like, who the fuck asked them to do that?
Oh, you didn't ask for that?
I didn't, sure as fuck didn't
Wait.
ask for that.
Gus, are you proposing that our government could make decisions that are not based on the actual individuals, but could be made more by another group that could
Yeah.
sway them in some way?
If I had to
profit
guess,
from
I'd say maybe companies were
Gus,
paying for votes for that.
if that was part of our political system, that would just be tragic.
That would be tragic. I can't believe that would possibly happen.
I'm just so glad we don't live in that kind of society, Gus.
I agree. I don't want people knowing that I looked up nubile films.
God bless
Daughter
America.
fucks mom. It was
Nubile
the first one,
films.
by the way, when I loaded Pornhub. What'd you say?
Nubile films.
That's what it was.
Nubile,
It's
like
just really good. No,
stomach
like,
bile?
young
No,
and nubile.
No,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
Like young and fresh.
I forgot that was a word.
oh, don't ever need to hear Gus whisper
Just
that
like
ever
that
again.
daughter.
Young and fresh.
This episode of the Rooster Teeth Podcast is brought to you by Casper. Casper is an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the cost. Casper is revolutionizing the mattress industry by cutting the cost of dealing with resellers and showrooms and passing that savings directly to the consumer. Casper's mattress is an obsessively engineered mattress at a very fair price. Casper's made of supportive memory.
Team that was installing the AC in my apartment, they broke the lock. My apartment complex had to switch the lock, put the new key in my mailbox. My mail key is in my apartment.
Ooh.
And their office closes right now.
You need to go? We're wrapping this up.
No,
right
I'm like
You're screwed
I'm
regardless.
far away from my apartment.
Shit.
So I'm gonna just do a quick call
Good thing you have
and I'll
Bella
be right
with
back.
All right, well, let's wrap this up. We'll give you a chance to get your call. Thanks everyone for watching. John Reisinger is making a stop now.
Don't say that. I didn't mean to do
No,
this.
it's 6:30.
We'll
You're
see you guys
good.
next
I'm
week.
going to your
Love
house.
you.
Bye.
Bye.